I could have put crooked Hillary
I
in
respected
jail.
that you didn't, because what you said was it would be bad for the country.
No, I couldn't even imagine. You have, more importantly, the wife of the President of the United States of America going into jail. And if you ever saw when I'd say something about her, they'd all say, I didn't say it. I never said it. They say, lock her up, lock her up. And I'd always go, take it easy, just relax. We're going to win this thing. Take it easy, take it easy. And I'm telling you, I kept it down, just the opposite. Now they say, oh, Trump wanted to put her in jail. No, I saved her from going to jail.
It doesn't mean that Hillary would have been a good choice either. She was a terrible choice. She's a corrupt politician, one of the most unlikable people that's ever run for office. They were trying to get people to be supporting her just because she's a woman. This is going to be her history. Women, ladies, I stand with her. So there's all these women that have this blind allegiance towards this career politician, completely full of shit. She's been full of shit.
Two of the most unfiltered voices in politics, and media collide to dismantle a figure who once seemed untouchable. Joe Rogan and Donald Trump launch a no-holds-barred assault on Hillary Clinton, tearing at the seams of her carefully polished image. No polite phrasing, no diplomatic buffer, just blunt truths about scandals, missteps, and lost opportunities. This isn't just a roast. It's the unmasking of a legacy far messier than the version she's been selling for decades.
On Hillary Clinton to win. I think she's ridiculously awful too.
I think a lot of people really disliked Hillary.
They should. She got a shitload of money from banks. She's completely full of shit. She didn't like gay marriage till 2013. She didn't agree with gay marriage till 2013. Like, what are you, a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Like, what the f is wrong with you? Why would you even care? Because she's not real. She didn't care. She just was doing what she thought would support her position.
When Rogan and Trump aim at Hillary, subtlety doesn't just leave the room, it books a one-way ticket to a deserted island. Rogan doesn't play the friendly talk show host. He treats it like a title fight where the other contender forgot their gloves. He jabs with comparisons, lands body blows of logic, and drops those half-amused, half-deadly observations that make even loyal fans squirm. With surgical humor, he turns her career into a highlight reel of stumbles, blunders, and PR train wrecks. And yes, she really said that.
She really did say that.
Yeah, she really did say that after she just got done Gaddafi and then laughed about it.
We came, we saw, he died.
We came, we saw, he died. The fact that any human being would ever do that. By the way he died, that's some dark.
I ask a simple question. She's been doing this for 30 years. Why the hell didn't you do it over the last 15, 20 years? You were very much involved. Excuse me, my turn. You were very much involved in every aspect of this country, and you do have experience. I'd say the one thing you have over me is experience, but it's bad experience because what you've done has turned out badly. For 30 years, you've been in a position to help, and if you say that I use steel or I use something else, make it impossible for me to do that. I wouldn't.
Before we go further, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss these takedowns. Now Trump's turn. He doesn't go for clean, careful cuts. He grabs the flamethrower. While Rogan dissects, Trump detonates. He doesn't just revisit her 2016 defeat. He turns it into a week-long comedy festival. He paints her as the political version of a frozen laptop, running the same outdated programs no matter how many times you hit refresh. For him, her greatest achievement might be making losing to him look like an Olympic-level sport.
The loopholes he took advantage of when he claimed $1 billion loss that enabled him to avoid paying taxes.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. I pay tremendous numbers of taxes. I absolutely used it. And so did Warren Buffett, and so did George Soros, and so did many of the other people that Hillary is getting money from. She complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. And I do. You have provisions in the tax code that frankly we could change, but you wouldn't change it because all of these people give you the money so you can take negative ads on Donald Trump.
Rogan zeroes in on her credibility. He points out that her shifting positions aren't signs of growth. They're the political equivalent of a GPS that can't lock on. The email scandal, he calls it exactly what it looked like, someone mistaking delete for secure. Her attempts to appear relatable, pure corporate beta testing. To Rogan, every folksy photo op feels more like a marketing campaign than a genuine connection.
The Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
Bill is so nice.
I went one time. Was he?
He's so nice. Like when I met him.
So charming.
He is, and he's actually still kind of good looking. Like even for an older dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? He's still so good looking, and she's just so miserable.
Well, she's publicly humiliated, and she thought that her big retribution would become president.
Trump treats the whole thing like a championship victory lap. He recalls the debates as if they were lopsided boxing matches. He replays election night in slow motion, watching her blue wall collapse into rubble. He mocks her book tours and public appearances as a nationally televised therapy session. To him, she isn't just a past opponent. She's a permanent warning sign about what happens when arrogance collides with the voters.
Fact check him in real time. Last time at the first debate, we had millions of people fact checking, so I expect we'll have millions more fact checking because, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Rogan digs through her record like an evidence folder from her Senate years to her stint as Secretary of State. Benghazi isn't just a footnote. He unpacks it as the defining symbol of poor judgment. He rips into the Wall Street speeches, showing the yawning gap between her public promises and private assurances. His style is sly. He gets the crowd nodding before dropping the punchline. Trump goes for the image kill shot, branding her as the ultimate establishment insider who talks reform but delivers red tape. He mocks her campaign slogans until they sound like bad novelty shirts. And always, he reminds the crowd she lost to him.
Deleted 33,000 emails.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
When they rigged the DNC, they rigged the primaries so that Bernie Sanders was going to lose.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
She had her people into the DNC way in advance. That Donna Brazile book about it is my.
Rogan tackles her media persona, overmanaged, over-rehearsed, allergic to spontaneity. He skewers her awkward campaign moments, from stage-stiff photos to speeches that feel designed by committee. Every attempt to be modern blows up into memes faster than it wins votes. He frames it not as bad luck, but as proof she's fundamentally out of touch. Trump's less diagnostic and more destructive. His roasts are wrecking balls. Despite decades of experience, massive funding, and elite connections, she still couldn't beat him. Rogan compares her political brand to a logo that hasn't been updated in decades. She tried to ride progressive waves while clinging to the old playbook and sank in the middle.
The conversation between James Comey.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information.
When James Comey testified about what he did and what they found with the Hillary Clinton emails, and then her version of it.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
She's just a straight.
Trump's set is pure spectacle. He's there to own the stage, not to educate. Every line is a flex, every joke a victory lap. He mocks her celebrity endorsements, suggesting they did more harm than good. Even with media, Hollywood, and the Democratic machine behind her, she lost. For him, that's the best punchline in modern politics. Rogan wraps up with wry amusement. Hillary's relevance now lives more in punchlines than in policy debates. Trump ends by labeling her the ultimate what could have been, or in his view, what never should have been.
5th will be the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Because if our country goes the wrong way with this election, I think this country is doomed.
What do you think your biggest challenge is with being elected?
Well, they've weaponized government. They've tried that one, and that drove me up. They're vicious people. These are vicious people. I could have done that to Hillary Clinton. What she did was so bad. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress, and she destroyed everything. You go to jail for that for years. And if you did it as a private person, you go to jail. But she destroyed everything. And I said, wouldn't it be terrible to have the wife of the President of the United States, a former President of the United States, being put in prison? And I meant that. I think it would be terrible.
If Rogan and Trump agree on anything, it's that Hillary's legacy isn't trailblazing. It's tripping over the very path she tried to pave. This is more than comedy, it's a tag team demolition. Rogan's precision and Trump's bombast leave her political image in shreds. Together, they strip away decades of spin, like peeling wallpaper, revealing the same cracked foundation that's been there since the 90s.
One is wild. This is Hillary Clinton in like 2008, and Hillary Clinton saying some wild MAGA type shit.
Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone. If they...
She's a Republican.
If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes. And you have to try to learn English.
Oh,
wow.
You have to wait in line. You have to wait in line. It's
You couldn't believe that.
illusion.
They tear through every failed rebrand. Hillary the reformer, Hillary the progressive, Hillary the women's champion. Each as convincing as a campaign ad nobody watched. Rogan likens her to a Netflix series renewed out of habit, not quality. Trump calls her the political version of Windows Vista. Big promises, endless crashes. Rogan notes her evolution is just a series of costume changes. Trump paints her as the eternal understudy in a political play she'll never star in. Then they both hit the kill shot, turning her entire career into a cautionary tale.
Doesn't mean that Hillary would have been a good choice either. She was a terrible choice. She's a corrupt politician, one of the most unlikable people that's ever run for office.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
They were trying to get people supporting her just because she's a woman. This is going to be her history. You know, women, ladies, I stand with her. So there's all these women that have this blind allegiance towards this career politician. It's completely full of shit. She's been full of shit forever.
Rogan casts her as the would-be revolutionary who ended up as a trivia question. Trump finishes by showing how ambition without genuine connection crumbles like a sandcastle in the tide. The audience can almost feel the collapse, brick by brick, as decades of influence dissolve into forgettable sound bites. This isn't just a roast, it's the erasure of a myth. By the end, she's not just bruised, she's reduced to dust, with no chance to rebuild.
The day of the election, I think they had some crazy odds of Hillary winning. It was like in the 90%. We watched it from the Comedy Store. We did a podcast from the Comedy Store called the End of the World podcast. What was most fascinating was the podcast was over, and then we all went to the bar, and on the television, Jake Tapper was just seriously bummed out, talking about Trump winning all these different states.
And Anderson, it is hard to think of a political comeback that is actually more significant than this one. I'm tempted to say Richard Nixon, but that really falls short of what Donald Trump has achieved.
I think for a lot of people, that was the end of trust in mainstream media. That was the first nail in the coffin. Those to be like, you were so wrong.
When the dust settles, the stage is empty. The silence is louder than her last campaign slogan. Her brand now sits like an unwanted museum exhibit, polished outside, hollow inside. Time will strip away the gloss, revealing the cracks beneath. The applause that once followed her has faded to uneasy quiet, replaced by the realization that her inevitability was always an illusion. Her legacy isn't in her wins, it's in the shadow of the chances she squandered. And as Rogan and Trump's roasts echo longer than her speeches ever did, it's clear this isn't just the end of a chapter. It's the slam of a book closing so hard the dust still hangs in the air,